Quenby and Ilana Katz. And we got more fun coming up, but a couple of announcements. If you didn't get a chance to donate yet, back on the soundboard, there's a little thing to throw a donation in, raise a little money for one of the attendees here. Their family member is battling colon cancer, the same cancer that took my sister a year ago, 2 days ago. So that money's going to help her spend some time with her mom as she's battling cancer. So that's what the money from the gig is going for. So back there, if you haven't donated, that would be great. Speaking of which, my yes, Dan the man, Dan the sound man is the best. Give it up for Dan. He worked so hard. He was here like 6:30 this morning, tapping on my bedroom window. I'm like, Dan, stop looking at me naked. He does that every time. I like you too, though. Anyway, Dan always does sound for me because he's meticulous. Give it up for Dan one more time. And so we're remembering my sister today, and her good friend Pat actually flew in from Detroit, where my sister was living when she was battling cancer. And Pat, it's very special you're here, and Karen Ross, her best friend from childhood. And want to shout out to Kimberly for helping me with everything today. And as tradition, usually I interview one or two artists at these things. It's a vestige from my radio days, which many of the artists here have been on my shows. So I'm going to bring up Charlie Sawyer, who is B.B. King's official biographer. And this is the one-year anniversary of when we lost B.B. King. And my sister's dying wish was to meet B.B. King. And I had the opportunity to get her to meet B.B. and sit side stage at a time when it was almost impossible to get an audience with B.B. King. But I knew B.B. from taking care of Weepin' Willie Robinson, who was his protege since the 50s. So very fortunate. But come on in here, Charlie. Charlie, a very, very special guy. Grab this. Yeah, if you got a second one. Yeah, we'll bring up another mic. But so I just want to introduce Charlie because I've known him for a long time, and he's amazing in his own right. He had unfettered access to B.B. King when developing a friendship and to write the biography. Isn't that the case?
I think there wasn't a year that passed since 1968 that I didn't visit with B.B. King. Usually after his shows, on his bus or in his hotel room.
Now, can you recall one or two of maybe the most special memories with B.B. or something that's really fun?
Yes. Yes, testing. Are we live? Yes. The most special memory I have of B.B. was a few years before the end when I was visiting with him on his bus. I had my wife Sherry with me and my son Sam. And B.B. said to Sam, are you still playing the guitar? And Sam said, yeah, from time to time. And B.B. said, now Sam, a lot of young players, they grab the neck of the guitar like they're trying to strangle a snake or something like that. You have to cradle it. You have to be gentle with it. You have to hold it gently.
Like a woman.
Well, yes. And,
or two women if you're B.B. I'm pretty sure he done did that because he loved women.
He did love women. And he held his cell phone in his hand like a guitar neck, and he said, just be real relaxed. He said, I don't have calluses on my fingers. And he held out his hand to me. He said, go ahead, touch my hand.
Oh, jeez.
And I put my hand and my fingers against his fingers, and I ran my fingers over the ends of his fingers one by one.
Supple?
They were supple,
really?
Smooth.
I'd lose it.
And I was thinking, these fingertips made 60 years of great music.
Oh.
And I have them on, at my fingertips. I knew I'd always remember that moment.
I certainly would. Oh, my goodness. For those of you who want to learn more about the blues, if you're just kind of getting into it, Charlie teaches an urban blues class at Harvard Extension School. Are you still doing the class?
No.
No? All right.
No.
You can go into Charlie's living room and ask him a bunch of goofy questions about B.B. King and stuff, just like I'm doing right now.
Yes.
I'm going to let Charlie talk about B.B. King, and he has a special little thing he wants to read. And thank you for this because this is really special. And I'm sure today's a tough day for you because you
Yes.
love the man,
Well, I did.
which is why I wanted you to be with people who also loved him today. So thank you, Charlie.
Well, I'm so glad to be here and to be with all of you folks. Now, BB's funeral was May 30th or 31st. I always have trouble remembering. 31st. And the service was in the Belgrove Missionary Baptist Church in Indianola, Mississippi on B.B. King Road. And of course, it was filled to capacity, and there was an overflow seating arrangement. And I was asked to be one of 4 people to deliver a short eulogy in BB's memory. And I'll read it to you right now, if you have the patience for it, I hope. It's not all that long, it's like 6 minutes or something like that. But here it goes. Really?
It's the Jap stock. Did you say that before?
Okay? Almost. Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
All right. Riley B. King's almost 90-year life began at a time when men and mules worked from kin to cane, when armies of men, women, and children crept across the fields of Jim Crow, Mississippi, dragging 11-foot cotton sacks, filling them with cotton bolls picked by hand, one by one. It ended at a time when giant machines controlled from computerized cabs, spanning 5 or 6 rows of cotton, move across the vast delta fields at a steady clip. From Jim Crow and kin to cane to GPS, Google, and an African American in the White House, that is the span of his life, the journey our culture has taken during Riley King's time on Earth. The museum built in his name here in Indianola has described his personal journey this way: from Indianola to icon. Riley King, as B.B. King, became an icon of American music by founding a new style of electric guitar playing, indeed a whole new genre of music on that instrument. Audiences and guitarists worldwide were dazzled by his performances. It's not hyperbole to say that his influence on electric blues guitar is so deep and so profound that his musical DNA, his imprint, can be heard in the playing of every guitarist today who plays the blues. B.B. King lives in every blues lick on every electric guitar for as long as blues is played on 6 strings. But how did he do this? How did he achieve this remarkable success? How did he earn the respect of every guitarist on the planet, the adoration of millions of his fans worldwide, and an undisputed title, King of the Blues? He did it not only by his musical genius, he did it by extraordinary endurance and unwavering determination, by playing an estimated 18,000 performances. His career was a lifelong crusade to make blues music respectable, to rescue it from the image of a man wearing overalls, carrying a diddley bow in one hand and a jug in the other. He wanted to elevate the blues to a new status where it would be accepted as an American musical genre equal to jazz, soul, and rock and roll. The measure of his achievement is best seen by looking at 2 times in his life. The first, the spring and summer of 1940, when at age 14 he was an orphan, living alone in a cabin in Kilmichael, Mississippi, sharecropping 1 acre of cotton and living on a furnish of $2.50 a month. Contrast this with an evening in December 2006 when he received the Medal of Freedom given to him by President George W. Bush at a White House ceremony. He went from a 14-year-old solitary sharecropper to the recipient of the highest civilian honor. In the distant future, many generations hence, when the history of the 20th century will reside only in books and other artifacts, people will hear blues music and recognize it as a distinct art form, different from jazz, different from rock and roll, different from soul music. And in those distant times, blues music will be performed and loved just as 18th and 19th century classical music is performed and loved today. And it is B.B. King who has won for blues this place in our culture. He, more than anyone, is responsible for securing a permanent place for blues in our very cultural imprint. His unique story gave the listening public a personality to identify with in the music. His story became the story of the blues. B.B. King has earned a place alongside Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Charlie Parker, and Miles Davis in the pantheon of artists who made the 20th century's new style of improvisational music America's unique contribution to world culture. Thank you. I hope that wasn't too long.
Charlie Sawyer. Almost forgot. Very shortly, some folks are going to come around. We're going to have a 50-50 raffle to kind of raise a little extra money. So we'll be doing that. And something that Charlie mentioned that I want to mention kind of reminded me. I wore a B.B. King shirt when I interviewed Reverend Al Green. He actually told me that was pretty ballsy of me. And he's like, so you like B.B. King, huh? I'm like, yes, Reverend Green. So anyway, I was a little taken aback. I didn't even realize I had done it. And he said, no, that's fine. He's like, I love B.B. He's the warmest guy when you walk in the room and B.B.'s there. He's like, hugs and kisses and, hey, man, come on. Great to see you. And then we got to talking about B.B. King in the interview, which lasted almost an hour. And he said, Jim, the thing that's striking about B.B. King, myself, and a select few others, you think about B.B. King, kid sitting on Beale Street, plugged up into some cheap little lamp, started out making nothing. And now you've got a man who is a millionaire, who has contributed to the culture the way Charlie just described so eloquently. And we've really come a really long way. And actually, I see James Montgomery coming in, paging Dr. Montgomery. Come on up. James has worked with BB, and we're doing a little interview segment on BB and remembering him. And I want James to say a little something in this segment while we... dude, please. I haven't even gotten a hug from all the girls yet. You can do that later. Yeah. Don't give him the decoy. Don't give him the good stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's not up to you. Come on up, Jimmy. You're not getting out of this. She'll come with it.